November 18th, 1978. Port Kaituma, Guyana, a small airstrip in the middle of nowhere. Congressman Leo Ryan is boarding a plane. He's leaving, taking 14 people with him. Defectors, people who want to escape, people who've been living in hell and finally have a chance to get out. The plane's engines are running. People are climbing aboard. Relief, freedom, safety. Just a few more seconds and they'll be gone. They'll be safe. They'll be home. And then a tractor appears, pulling a trailer coming from the compound, from Jonestown. And on that trailer are men with guns, temple members loyal to Jim Jones. And they're here to make sure nobody leaves. Nobody tells the world what's really happening in that jungle. Nobody gets out alive. They open fire, automatic weapons, shotguns, pistols, firing into the plane, into the people on the ground, into anyone trying to escape. Congressman Ryan is hit, falls, tries to crawl, is shot again and again and again, 45 times, until he stops moving, until he's dead. The first congressman assassinated in the line of duty. 4 others die on that airstrip. Journalists who came to document the truth. People who thought they were safe, who thought the nightmare was over. They're wrong. And within hours, 909 more people will be dead. The largest mass death of American civilians in history until September 11th, 2001. This is Jonestown. And to understand how it ended, you need to understand how it began. Because Jim Jones didn't start as a monster. He started as a savior, and that's what made him so dangerous. Let me take you back to the beginning, to a boy who would grow up to kill hundreds, to a movement that started with hope and ended in horror, to the day when paradise became hell and 909 people died in the jungle. This is the true story of Jonestown. And I'm going to tell you everything. May 13th, 1931, Indiana, a boy is born, James Warren Jones, Jim Jones. And from the very beginning, something is different about him, something wrong. He's obsessed with death, with religion, with power. While other children play, Jim performs funeral services for dead animals, for pets. He stands over their graves, preaches sermons, practices being a minister. He's 7 years old, and he's already rehearsing for what he'll become. His childhood is difficult. Father is a Ku Klux Klan member, disabled, angry. Mother works long hours. Jim is alone a lot, isolated. He finds companionship in church, in the Pentecostal tradition, speaking in tongues, faith healings, dramatic worship. And Jim loves it, loves the attention, loves the power of standing in front of people, making them believe, making them follow. He tells people he'll be a minister. No, not a minister. The minister, the greatest preacher who ever lived. And people laugh. But Jim doesn't laugh. Jim knows he's special, different, chosen, and he's going to prove it. 1949. Jim Jones is 18. He starts preaching, small churches, street corners, anywhere people will listen. And something happens, something unexpected. He's good, really good, charismatic, passionate, convincing. People listen, people believe, people follow, and Jim realizes something important. He has power, real power, the power to make people do what he wants, the power to control them, and he's just getting started. But Jim Jones isn't just preaching religion, he's preaching politics, socialism, racial integration. In 1950s Indiana, this is radical, dangerous even. The Ku Klux Klan is active. Segregation is the norm. And here's Jim Jones, a young white preacher, saying all races are equal, that we should share wealth, that capitalism is evil, that God wants a socialist revolution. And here's the thing, he's right. On these issues, morally, he's right. Racial equality is right. Helping the poor is right. Fighting injustice is right. And that's why people follow him. Because he's not preaching hate. He's preaching love, justice, equality. The things good people believe in. The things idealistic people will sacrifice for. 1956, Jim Jones founds the People's Temple, his own church, in Indianapolis. And it's genuinely progressive, truly integrated. Black and white members worshiping together, eating together, living together. In 1950s Indiana, this is revolutionary. And Jim does real good. Feeds hungry people, houses homeless people, helps drug addicts, visits prisoners. He's doing what Jesus actually said to do, and people love him for it. But behind the charity, something else is growing, something dark. Jim starts performing healings, dramatic healings. People in wheelchairs suddenly walk. Blind people suddenly see. Deaf people suddenly hear. Cancer tumors are removed right there on stage. Jim reaches into people's bodies and pulls out lumps of diseased flesh. Proof of God's power. Proof of Jim's special connection to the divine. Except it's all fake. The wheelchairs? Planted. Actors pretending to be disabled. The tumors? Chicken gizzards. Pieces of meat hidden in Jim's hand. Pulled out with sleight of hand. Theatrical deception. But the congregation doesn't know. They see miracles. They see proof. They believe. And belief is power. Jim's power, growing stronger every day. And then the sexual abuse begins. Jim sleeps with female members, tells them God commands it. That sleeping with him is a form of worship, a test of loyalty. And they do it because they trust him, because they believe in the mission, because leaving would mean abandoning everything they've built, everyone they love, their entire community. So they stay, and they stay silent, and Jim's control grows deeper. 1965. Jim Jones is getting too much attention. People are asking questions, investigating. He needs to move, needs to go somewhere more liberal, more accepting, somewhere he can grow the movement without scrutiny. So he takes the People's Temple to California, to Redwood Valley, and then to San Francisco. And there, in the progressive heart of America, the People's Temple explodes. Thousands join, young people, idealists, activists, people who want to change the world, civil rights activists, socialists, peace movement veterans, good people, smart people, people with education and skills and passion. And they see the People's Temple doing real work, real good, feeding people, housing people, fighting racism, fighting poverty. This is what they've been looking for, a movement that actually makes a difference. So they join, they commit, they give everything, and Jim Jones becomes powerful, politically powerful. He delivers voters, delivers volunteers, delivers money. Politicians court him, mayors meet with him. Governor Jerry Brown praises him. Rosalind Carter, wife of presidential candidate Jimmy Carter, appears with him. Jim Jones is a respected community leader, a force for good, or so it seems. Because inside the temple, the control is total. Jim holds meetings called catharsis sessions, public humiliations. Members are brought before the congregation, accused of disloyalty, of doubt, of sin, and they're broken down, psychologically destroyed, made to confess, made to beg forgiveness, made to prove their loyalty. And if that's not enough, there are beatings. Children beaten with paddles, adults beaten with fists, all in the name of discipline, of correction, of love. Jim makes members sign false confessions, admitting to crimes they didn't commit, admitting to being child molesters, admitting to being communists, These confessions are kept on file. Insurance. If anyone tries to leave, Jim threatens to turn them in, to destroy them, to take their children, so people stay, trapped, afraid, but still believing that somehow, despite everything, the mission is worth it. And Jim is paranoid. Increasingly paranoid. He stages fake assassination attempts, pretends people are trying to kill him, uses it to justify more control, more security, more isolation from the outside world. He tells members the government is coming for them, that fascism is rising in America, that they need to be ready to flee, to defend themselves, to die if necessary, and he tests them repeatedly, seeing who will follow him all the way, even to death. These tests have a name: White Nights. Jim triggers alarms in the middle of the night. Everyone rushes to the church, panicked, afraid, and Jim tells them enemies are attacking, that they're surrounded, that this is the end, and he gives them drinks, tells them it's poison, tells them to drink, to die with dignity, to show their loyalty to the cause, and they drink. Men, women, children, they drink, and then they wait to die. Wait to see if Jim is serious this time. Except it's not poison, not yet. It's a test, a rehearsal. Jim watches to see who hesitates, who resists, who's willing to die for him, and most do it. Most drink. Because they believe, because they're committed, because leaving would mean admitting they've wasted years of their lives, that everything they've sacrificed was for nothing. So they drink. And Jim takes notes, mental notes, of who's loyal and who might be a problem. 1977, everything changes. New West magazine publishes an investigation. Former members speak out, tell horror stories, beatings, sexual abuse, financial exploitation, fake healings. The truth is coming out, and Jim knows he can't stay in San Francisco, can't stay in America. The scrutiny is too intense, the questions too pointed. He needs to go somewhere remote, somewhere he has total control, somewhere nobody can reach them, and he already has the place. Since 1974, the People's Temple has been leasing land in Guyana, South America, remote jungle territory, 27,000 acres, 7 miles from the nearest town, middle of nowhere. The plan was always to build a commune there, a socialist paradise, agricultural project, self-sufficient community, away from the corruption of American capitalism. And now, with the walls closing in, it's time to go. Jim convinces hundreds of members to move, tells them they're being persecuted, that the media is lying, that the government is coming for them, that the only safe place is Guyana, in Jonestown, named after him, his kingdom, his paradise, his prison, and they believe. They pack up their lives, say goodbye to family, and follow Jim Jones to the jungle, to hell. November 1977 through early 1978. Over 1,000 people moved to Jonestown. They arrive excited, hopeful. This is it, the promised land, the socialist utopia they've been working toward. A place where everyone is equal, everyone is fed, everyone is free, except that's not what they find. What they find is a nightmare. The conditions are terrible, primitive. The buildings are basic wooden structures, tin roofs, no air conditioning, no privacy. Bunk beds crammed together, 10, 12 people in a room meant for 4. The heat is oppressive, jungle heat, humid, stifling, over 90 degrees every day, and the work is brutal. Clearing jungle, planting crops, building structures, 11, 12, 13 hours a day in the heat, with minimal food, with no rest. The food is scarce, rice and gravy, maybe some vegetables, maybe, but probably not. People are hungry, always hungry, losing weight, getting sick, malnutrition, vitamin deficiencies. But Jim eats well, separate meals, better food, meat, fresh vegetables. He's not starving. Only his followers are starving, but they don't complain, can't complain, because complaining means you're not committed, means you're a traitor, means you're a problem. And there's no leaving. The compound is surrounded by jungle, miles from anywhere. Armed guards patrol the perimeter, not to keep intruders out, to keep members in. Passports are confiscated. Money is controlled by Jim. No way to buy a ticket, no way to get home. You're stuck, trapped, in the jungle, in Jim's kingdom. And Jim is always watching, always listening, always there. Loudspeakers are everywhere, throughout the compound. And Jim's voice comes through them, constantly. Sermons, lectures, warnings, even at night, middle of the night. Jim's voice wakes you up, tells you to report to the pavilion, emergency meeting, white night, and you go, because you have to. Because armed guards are coming to get you if you don't, and you gather. And Jim tells you it's happening. The government is attacking, the end is here, and you need to be ready to die. Again, another rehearsal, another test, and you're so tired, so hungry, so broken, that part of you almost wishes it was real this time, just so it would be over. But some people aren't broken. Some people are desperate, desperate to escape, to get out, to tell the world what's happening, and a few manage it. They run into the jungle, risk the guards, risk getting shot, risk getting lost, and some make it to the nearest town, make it to Georgetown, make it to the American embassy, and they tell their stories, horror stories, stories of abuse, of starvation, of imprisonment, and their families hear, and their families are terrified, and their families band together, form a group, concerned relatives, and they lobby Congress. They demand action. They demand someone investigate. And finally, someone listens. Leo Ryan, Democratic congressman from California. He's known for being hands-on, for investigating personally, not just reading reports, not just trusting what he's told. He goes, he sees, he finds the truth himself. And he has constituents with family members in Jonestown, desperate families, begging him to help, to go there, to see what's happening, to bring their loved ones home. And Leo Ryan says yes, he'll go, he'll investigate, he'll find the truth. And he assembles a delegation, aides, journalists, concerned relatives, and in November 1978, they fly to Guyana. Jim Jones knows they're coming, and he's terrified. This is it, the end of his control. If Ryan sees the truth, if he reports it, if the world finds out, it's over. Everything is over. Jim will go to prison. The temple will be disbanded. Everything he's built will be destroyed. So Jim prepares, stages everything, makes Jonestown look good, cleans up, prepares special food, rehearses members on what to say, and he tells them, if they ruin this, if they expose the truth, everyone will pay, everyone will die, and he means it. November 17th, 1978. Leo Ryan arrives. Jim initially refuses to let him into Jonestown, claims it's private property, claims religious freedom, but Ryan insists, has the media with him, can't refuse publicly. So Jim allows it, allows Ryan and his delegation inside, and the performance begins. Music, dancing, a big dinner, members smiling, laughing, testifying how wonderful life is in Jonestown, how happy they are, how much they love Jim, how this is paradise on earth. And Ryan sees it, sees the performance, and initially he's impressed. Writes a note, says some folks here believe this is the best thing that ever happened to them. And Jim relaxes. thinks he's won, thinks Ryan believes, thinks they're safe. But the journalists are sharper. They see through it, see the fear in people's eyes, see how thin everyone is, see the guards, see the loudspeakers, see the control. And they start asking questions, hard questions, and people start slipping them notes, folded pieces of paper passed secretly, desperately, and the notes say, "Help me, get me out. Please, he'll kill us. Take my children, save us." And the journalists show Ryan. And Ryan realizes, this isn't paradise. This is a prison. And these people are hostages. Ryan changes strategy, stops being diplomatic, becomes confrontational, demands to speak to people privately, demands to know if anyone wants to leave. And Jim panics, tries to control the situation, tries to keep Ryan away from certain members. But it's too late. The truth is coming out. And people are brave, incredibly brave. They step forward, say they want to leave, want to go home, want to escape. And Ryan says, "Okay, I'll take you. Anyone who wants to leave, I'll take you. You're coming with me. You're safe now." 14 people decide to go. 14 brave people, willing to risk Jim's wrath, willing to leave everything behind just to be free. And Jim watches, seething, furious. His control is breaking, his kingdom is crumbling, and there's nothing he can do. Or is there? As Ryan is preparing to leave, something happens. One of Jim's most loyal followers, a man named Don Sly, pulls a knife, attacks Ryan, tries to kill him right there in Jonestown. He's stopped, subdued. But the message is clear. Jim doesn't want Ryan to leave, doesn't want anyone to leave. This is dangerous, really dangerous. And Ryan decides they need to go now, immediately. Get to the airstrip. Get on the planes. Get out before something worse happens. The group leaves. Ryan, his aides, the journalists, the 14 defectors. They walk to the nearby airstrip, Port Kaituma, small jungle airstrip, 2 planes waiting, 1 small Cessna, 1 larger Twin Otter. And they start boarding, relieved, exhausted, traumatized, but safe, almost home, almost free, just a few more minutes. And that's when they see it, a tractor pulling a trailer coming from Jonestown, and on that trailer are men, temple members, loyal to Jim, and they have guns, and they're not here to say goodbye. The tractor pulls onto the airstrip, stops near the planes, and the men jump off, and they start shooting automatic weapons, shotguns, firing into the planes, into the people, into anyone trying to escape. Chaos, screaming, people diving for cover, people trying to run, but there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's an open airstrip in the middle of the jungle, and the shooters are methodical, deliberate, hunting. Congressman Leo Ryan is hit multiple times, falls to the ground, tries to crawl, tries to get away, and one of the shooters stands over him, fires again and again and again. 45 times Ryan is shot, executed, the first U.S. congressman assassinated in the line of duty, dead on a jungle airstrip, murdered for trying to help people. Don Harris, NBC journalist, shot and killed. Greg Robinson, San Francisco Examiner photographer, shot and killed. Bob Brown, NBC cameraman, shot and killed. His camera keeps rolling, films his own death, captures the moment he falls, the moment the light goes out. Patricia Parks, temple member trying to defect, shot and killed. 5 people dead, many more wounded, and the shooters get back on the tractor, drive back to Jonestown, and they know, Jim knows, this is it. This is the end. There's no coming back from this. Murdering a congressman, murdering journalists. This means the military is coming, the police are coming, the world is coming, and Jim has already decided what happens next. Back in Jonestown, Jim calls everyone to the pavilion. Emergency meeting. Everyone must come. And they do, because they always do. Men, women, children, babies, everyone, they gather under the open-sided pavilion, exhausted from the day, confused, afraid, sensing something is wrong, something is different. And Jim is there at the front, and he tells them, the congressman is dead, the others are dead. There's no going back. The government will come, the military will come, they'll torture us. Separate families, take the children, put everyone in camps. There's only one way out. Revolutionary suicide. Die with dignity. Die together. Die for the cause. And people object. Some people, not many. Most are too tired, too broken, too conditioned. But some push back. Say there has to be another way. Can't we just leave? Can't we just surrender? Can't we just explain? And Jim talks them down, manipulates them, reminds them of all the times the government lied, all the times they were persecuted, all the reasons they came here in the first place. And besides, it's already decided. The vat is already prepared, large metal vat filled with poison, cyanide, mixed with tranquilizers, mixed with sedatives, to make it easier, to make it painless, or so he says, and armed guards stand ready, just in case anyone changes their mind, just in case anyone tries to run. And then Jim gives the order, children first, babies first. His strategy is clear. Once the children are dead, the parents have no reason to live, no reason to resist. They'll follow their children into death. So bring the babies, bring the children, line them up, and the mothers comply. Some willingly, true believers, thinking they're saving their children from torture, from a worse fate. They hold their babies, accept syringes filled with poison, squirt the liquid into their children's mouths, and the babies cry, and the babies convulse, and the babies die in their mother's arms, and the mothers watch, and some mothers break, scream, try to run, but the guards are there, forcing them, threatening them, ensuring compliance. The children are next, toddlers, young kids. Some go willingly, conditioned to obey, told they're going to sleep, told they'll wake up somewhere better. They drink the poison, and they die, quickly, painfully. Cyanide is not peaceful. It's agony, suffocation from the inside. But the adults tell them it's okay. Tell them to be brave. Tell them to stop crying. And some children fight, thrash, spit out the poison, and they're held down, forced. Syringes squirted directly into their mouths, down their throats, and they die. 304 children dead, murdered by the adults who were supposed to protect them. Then the adults. Once your children are dead, what reason do you have to live? That's Jim's logic. And for many, it works. They line up, take the cups, drink the poison, and die. Hundreds of them lying down together, holding each other, families dying together. Some go peacefully. True believers to the end, convinced this is revolutionary suicide, that they're making a statement, that their deaths mean something, others are forced, guards with guns, ensuring nobody escapes, nobody survives, nobody tells the truth. And Jim is there the whole time, on the loudspeaker, talking, preaching, urging people on, telling them to die with dignity, telling them this is beautiful, this is what they worked for, this is the ultimate loyalty. And his voice is there until the end, until everyone is dead or dying, until the compound is silent, until 909 people are dead. Jim Jones dies too, gunshot to the head. Whether he shot himself or someone shot him, we'll never know. But he's dead. His inner circle, dead around him, his kingdom silent, his followers dead. 304 children, 605 adults, the largest mass death of American civilians in history. And it's over. The nightmare is over. But the horror is just beginning. November 19th, 1978. The next day, Guyanese military arrives at Jonestown. They're expecting something bad, but they're not prepared for this. Nobody could be prepared for this. Bodies everywhere, hundreds of them, lying in the pavilion, in the grass, piled on top of each other, arms around each other, families together, children in their parents' arms, decomposing in the jungle heat. The smell is overwhelming. The sight is traumatic. Grown soldiers vomiting, crying, unable to process what they're seeing. They count the bodies, initially estimate around 400, but then they realize bodies are piled on bodies, children under adults, adults under adults. The count keeps rising. 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, final count, 909 people dead in one day, from one man's order, from one community's nightmare. The recovery operation is massive. The U.S. military is called in. Air Force transport planes, Dover Air Force Base, body bags, hundreds and hundreds of body bags. The bodies are decomposed, bloated, difficult to move, difficult to identify. The heat has accelerated decomposition. Some bodies are unrecognizable. The recovery personnel are traumatized. This is the largest body recovery operation since World War II. And it's not a war zone, it's a commune, a religious community, a place that was supposed to be paradise. Identification takes weeks, months, dental records, fingerprints, personal effects. But many people have no records on file, no way to identify them, and many have no family to claim them. They gave up everything for the temple, cut off contact with relatives, isolated themselves, and now they're dead, and nobody claims them. Over 400 people are eventually buried in a mass grave in Oakland, California, unmarked, anonymous, forgotten by everyone except the survivors. Because there are survivors, not many, 33 people. Some slept through it, in distant buildings, woke up to find everyone dead. Some hid in the jungle, heard the commotion, knew something was wrong, stayed hidden. Some were away from the compound, on errands, in town, returned to find hell. And these 33 people have to live with it. The guilt, the trauma, the questions. Why did I survive? Why me and not them? Why couldn't I stop it? Why didn't I see it coming? Some survivors defend Jim Jones to this day, insist he was a good man who lost his way, insist the government forced his hand, insist it wasn't his fault. They can't accept the truth, because accepting the truth means accepting they were complicit. They followed him, they enabled him, they allowed it to happen. So they defend him, because it's easier than facing the reality, easier than admitting they were wrong. But most survivors don't defend him. Most survivors are horrified, traumatized, broken. They lost everything, lost family, lost friends, lost children, and they have to live with the knowledge that they were part of it, that they were in the temple, that they almost died too, that they could have stopped it if only they'd spoken up sooner, if only they'd left sooner, if only they'd seen the truth sooner. The guilt is crushing, lifelong, inescapable. The legacy of Jonestown is complicated. The phrase, drinking the Kool-Aid, enters popular culture, means blindly following someone, believing without question, except it wasn't Kool-Aid, it was Flavor Aid, a cheaper alternative, But the phrase sticks, and it trivializes what happened, turns mass murder into a punchline, into a metaphor, into something less than what it was. 909 people didn't drink the Kool-Aid. 909 people were murdered by a charismatic sociopath who spent decades building control, building loyalty, building a prison disguised as paradise. And here's the thing, Jim Jones didn't start as a monster. He started as an idealist, a progressive voice, fighting racism, fighting poverty, fighting injustice. And people followed him because of that. Because he seemed good. Because he seemed right. Because he seemed to care. And that's what makes Jonestown so terrifying. Because it proves that good intentions aren't enough. That charisma isn't virtue. That someone can start with noble goals and end as a murderer. And it shows how easy it is to lose yourself, to surrender your judgment, to follow someone into darkness, one compromise at a time, one rationalization at a time, one step at a time, until you're in too deep, until there's no way out, until everyone you love is dead. The FBI files on Jonestown are 50,000 pages. 50,000 pages of investigation, interviews, evidence, trying to understand, trying to explain, trying to answer the question, how did this happen? And the answer is complicated. It's about charisma, about manipulation, about isolation, about gradual escalation, about the human need to belong, to believe, to be part of something bigger, and about what happens when that need is exploited by someone with no conscience, no empathy, no limits. Jim Jones used people's goodness against them, their idealism, their compassion, their commitment to justice. He took those beautiful qualities and weaponized them, turned them into chains, into prison bars, into the very things that kept people trapped. Because if you leave, you're betraying the cause, betraying the community, betraying everything you believe in. So you stay, you rationalize, you convince yourself it's not that bad, that it'll get better, that the mission is worth it. And by the time you realize the truth, it's too late. You're in the jungle, surrounded by armed guards, thousands of miles from home, with no passport, no money, no escape, and Jim Jones owns you. November 18th, 1978. 909 people died, 304 children, 605 adults. The largest mass death of American civilians until September 11th, 2001. And it wasn't a natural disaster, wasn't a terrorist attack from some foreign enemy. It was an American preacher, an American community, Americans killing Americans, in the name of socialism, in the name of loyalty, in the name of revolutionary suicide. But it wasn't suicide, it was murder, mass murder of men, of women, of children, of babies. And the man responsible spent decades preparing for it, building toward it, creating the conditions that made it possible. Jonestown didn't happen because people were stupid. It happened because people were human. Because humans are vulnerable to manipulation, to charisma, to the need to belong, and because humans want to believe, want to trust, want to think that someone out there has the answers, has the vision, has the plan to make the world better. And when you find someone who seems to have those things, it's hard to let go. Even when the evidence mounts, even when the abuse starts, even when people start dying. Because letting go means admitting you were wrong, means losing your community, means facing the reality that you wasted years of your life, that you sacrificed for nothing, that you were duped. And that's a hard truth to face. So people don't face it. They rationalize, they justify, they stay. until it's too late, until everyone is dead. The warning of Jonestown is this: beware of leaders who demand absolute loyalty, who isolate you from family, from friends, from outside information, who tell you that questioning is betrayal, that doubt is sin, that leaving is treason, who claim they alone have the truth, they alone can save you, they alone are worthy of your devotion. These are the warning signs. These are the red flags. And if you see them, run. Don't rationalize. Don't justify. Don't think you can change them from the inside. Just run. Because history shows us what happens when you don't. History shows us Jonestown. 909 people one day, one man's madness, one community's nightmare, and a reminder that the scariest monsters don't look like monsters. They look like saviors. They talk about justice, about equality, about building a better world. And they use those beautiful words to build prisons, to build control, to build the conditions for mass murder. And by the time you realize what they are, it's too late. The jungle is around you. The guards are watching. The poison is mixed, and there's no escape. Remember Jonestown. Remember the names. Remember the faces. Remember the children who died in their parents' arms. Remember the people who just wanted to make the world better, who just wanted to belong, who just wanted to believe in something. And remember what happened to them when they trusted the wrong person, when they surrendered their judgment, when they followed someone into darkness. Remember, so it never happens again, because Jim Jones is dead, but the conditions that created him still exist. The need to belong, the desire for simple answers, the appeal of charismatic leaders, the vulnerability of idealistic people. These things haven't changed, and if we're not careful, if we're not vigilant, if we don't learn from history, Jonestown can happen again, in a different place, with a different leader, with a different ideology, but the same result, the same horror, the same mass death. 909 people. We owe them memory. We owe them truth. We owe them the vigilance to ensure their deaths weren't meaningless, that their nightmare teaches us something, that Jonestown becomes a warning, not just a tragedy, not just a historical footnote, but a lesson about power, about manipulation, about the danger of surrendering critical thinking to anyone, no matter how noble their words, no matter how beautiful their vision, no matter how much you want to believe. This is Jonestown. This is what happened. This is the truth. And the truth is more terrifying than any horror story, because it's real, because it happened, because 909 people died, and because it could happen again if we forget, if we ignore the warning, if we stop asking questions, if we surrender our judgment, if we follow blindly into the jungle, into darkness, into death. November 18th, 1978, Jonestown, Guyana. 909 people, dead. Remember them, honor them, learn from them, and never, ever forget what happened when good people followed a bad man into hell.